Hello, my name is John Noser, and I'm here with Board Game Geek, and this is a BGG Con 2011 explanation video for Drumroll by Artipia Games. So this is Drumroll. It is a 2 to 4 player game, and it plays in about 90 minutes to 2 hours. This is the main board setup. You will be placing a token on the turn track, token on the show track. You'll be sorting out the discount tokens, the trailer tokens, the money, and each of the resource cubes. You'll also shuffle up the investment deck and put it on a pile by the board. You will deal out 1 card per player of the personnel cards and 1 card plus 1 for the performer cards. So in this case, we are playing a 4-player game. Also to note, you're going to be dealing off the bottom of the deck for the performer cards. The performer cards are 2-sided, and we'll go into a little more detail on those. And you'll be placing this cover card on top so no one knows what's going on, what's coming up. And that is the main board setup. So there's just some quick setup to each player's board. Each player will randomly get a location tile, which they will place there, which will give bonus points depending if they meet those requirements when they put on their show. They will also be dealt out 2 performer cards, and you will want to keep these secret from other people because you will choose one of them and pass the other one to the left. So I'm going to be choosing the clown, and then the person to my left also then just gave me the flame eater. So these are the 2 performers I will start with. Their cost is 3 and 5. I will get $15 or 15 money minus the amount that my performers cost. So in this case, I will start with 10 money. And I will place all my money here. And then also I will get to choose 2 cubes of any colors that I want. Since he starts with red and he needs a white to start with, I will choose a red and a white cube, and your cube storage is there. And then you are ready to start turn 1. So Drumroll is a pretty classic worker placement game. In this case, you're actually placing action markers and not workers. On your turn, you will place 1 of your action markers, and then it will pass to the left. And that will go around the table 3 times, so everybody will have placed 3 action markers. The areas of the board where you can place action markers are each of the resource cube areas. So this would be rehearsal cubes, equipment cubes, promotion cubes, costume cubes, and supply cubes. For the cubes, for the resource cubes, only 1 player can place in that area, and they can only have 1 marker in that area. So once someone is placed in one of the cube areas, that's the only person that's going to be able to collect, in this case, white cubes for the round. You will also be able to place on the ticket area, which will allow you to sell tickets. This will allow you to buy investment cards, which are there. This will allow you to buy performers, and this will allow you to buy personnel. For all the other spots, other than the resource cubes, you can place up to 2 of your markers in those spots. If there is actually no action you want to do, you can pass, and for passing you will collect 1 money. Now once everybody's placed their action markers on the board, you're going to resolve all the actions. First, people are going to take the cubes next to their action markers. Then you're going to move up the track of the tickets for people who have placed markers there. So yellow and red would move up the track, and they would collect $2 each. The track does go in this order, so it goes down 2, 3, 4, 5, then back up to 3, 4, and 5. It's a little counterintuitive, but that's how it is. People who have selected the invest phase will pay 1 money, and they will collect 1 card and add it to their area. It will be in order of bottom top, so blue would get the first card, green would get the second card. And that's also true for the performer. So in this case, green will get first choice of performer. They will pay the cost of the performer. And then blue will get second choice of performer, and they will pay the cost of that performer. And then the yellow will take one of the personnel cards and pay the cost of the personnel cards. So why don't we take a little closer look of the cards, and we'll be able to know what the cost is. This is a quick review of the performer card. This top right number is the cost of the card, so this is what you pay when you buy the performer. This is the upkeep cost, so after a performance, this is what you're going to pay to the performer. This is the goods that you need to measure its performance. If you get just the yellow cube, it's a poor performance. The yellow and blue cube is a medium performance. The yellow, blue, and red cube is an outstanding performance. The top left is what type of performer the performer is. This number here, right below the type of performer, is how many victory points you get if you flip that card over. You can flip the card if he achieves an outstanding performance. The other side of the card is basically the same thing. The number here is what the upkeep is, the turn you actually turn and flip the card over. This is just a reminder of how many victory points that you get for him. And this number is the upkeep you pay for every turn after you flip it over. This is a personnel card. Personnel cards are a little simpler. The cost is right here, so this personal assistant would cost 5 when you buy the card. This is the upkeep cost, so it's going to cost 2 after every performance. And this is what it does. In this case, you can trade 1 green for a red and a yellow cube once per turn. For the other abilities, please reference the rulebook. So here's a quick look at the investment cards. These are 2 types. The one on the left is a fire performer card. Basically, it means you can fire a performer from your troop, and you will not have to pay the upkeep cost anymore. If you keep that card to the end of the game, it is worth 1 victory point, which is denoted in the top left-hand corner. The resource bonus card is slightly different. It doesn't give you an ability during the game. It's just at the end of the game, for every 3 resource cubes you have that left over, you will get 1 victory point. And that's why there is the X at the top left of the card. For further explanations of the investment cards, please refer to the rulebook. So there's a quick distribution phase. Once everybody has taken their actions, you get to place 2 cubes from your supply to the card performers themselves. So in this situation, I am going to choose the red cube for the clown and the white cube for the flame eater. Now you do not have to do them in order. I could, if I wanted to, choose the blue cube and put it on the clown. So you can place them in any order. Once you have done that, if you are the first player, this is the first player token, you will pass that to the left, and then we will go through the rest of the upkeep on the main board. So there's just some minor upkeep at the end of a turn. You're going to move the turn marker up 1. You're also going to put a discount token on each performer and each personnel that was not used. So next turn, they will be 1 cheaper. You will replenish the personnel deck to 1 per the amount of players. You will also replenish the performer deck to 1 per player plus 1 card. So we're putting out new performers. And if there's ever a situation like this where there is 3 of the same type of performer, in this situation there are 3 jugglers, And that cannot happen. So you would discard the card that just came up, and you would deal out another card until there is at most 2 of one type of performer. So there's some special upkeep on turns 5 and turn 6 before a show. You're going to basically be voting if you want another turn. Everybody is going to secretly take one of their action markers into their hand, or not into their hand. They're going to place their closed fist on the in front of the board. Once everybody is ready, you are going to show if you have an action marker or not. I did not, so I voted that I did not want another action. Majority rules. If people vote for another action, you will go on to turn 6, and you will do another round of action marker placement. If enough people vote, no, we don't want another turn, the show will go on, and you will go to the performance portion of the game. Now, again, on turn 6, you're going to be doing the same thing, but in this situation, there's a slight difference. Whoever votes for turn 7, regardless of whether there is a turn 7 or not, will lose 1 prestige point. So be very careful. Make sure that you really need that turn 7 before you vote for it, or you will lose that prestige point regardless of whether there is a turn 7 or not. After turn 7, there is no more voting. The show will automatically go on, and you will move to the show performance phase of the game. So after turn 5 or turn 6 votes, where everybody votes to put on the show, or obviously mandatory after turn 7, you would put on the show. So you're going to look at all your performers. In this case, I only have 2 performers, so this is not going to be a very exciting show. And we're going to look to see if they can perform. And in this situation, they both can perform. A performer would not be able to perform if that first cube spot is not filled in. So in this situation, the Flame Eater would not be able to perform. But I do have the first cube filled in for both my performers. This is going to be a normal performance, and this is going to be an outstanding performance. What I get for my performers is the ability at the bottom here. And this might be a little bit hard to see, but for the clown, I can choose a red or white cube. For the Flame Eater, since he actually is an outstanding performer, I have a choice. I can either choose the bonus under the outstanding performance, which is 1 free trailer, or I can flip him over for victory points. If I choose a trailer, you would actually put a trailer on one of your performers, and that would lower the cost of upkeep. If I flip him over, I will take the cubes off, flip the card over, and I would get the amount of victory points here. So that would be 1 times the amount of bizarre performers I have. So it would only be 1 victory point. Again, my upkeep in this case would be, since I just turned it over, it's going to be 1 times the amount of bizarre performers I have. So it would be 1, and then the clown has an upkeep of 3. So I would have an upkeep of 4. So I will pay that upkeep, and then I would get my goods or my rewards for the show. And in this case, I would take a red or a white cube. And since I flipped over the Flame Eater, I do not get any bonus other than the victory points for the Flame Eater. Once everybody has figured that out, you will move the show marker down 1 spot, put on the show, the second show. You will also rotate the location cards, which actually can give you extra victory points. Remember, my location was Moscow. And unfortunately, I do not have 2 magicians or 2 tamers, so I will get no extra points for performing in Moscow. But you will pass this location to the player to your left. Again, move the show marker down 1, and you are ready to start action number 1 of show number 2. You do that 3 times, and then we will go to endgame scoring. One thing to mention before we go into final scoring is about performances. If for any reason one of your performers does not perform in a show, which basically means you didn't put a cube on that first spot, you will lose 1 prestige point and you will lose that performer. You will still need to pay its salary or upkeep cost for that turn though. So let's look at final game scoring. So this is the situation for me in the final performance. I have 3 performers performing. These have already been turned over, so they're just kind of hanging out at the bottom. They don't count against me, and they don't count as not performing. And I have outstanding performances for all of them. So I have the choice right now of, getting what's ever on the bottom or turning them over. Since this is the last turn, I'm probably going to turn them over for the victory points. Then we are going to check the final areas of scoring. So whoever has the largest show, which means the most performers in the circus, whether they just performed or are have been basically retired, gets 5 victory points. Unfortunately, I did not get that. One of my opponents had 8 performers, so they win that. Full variety, that means you have 1 of each of the 5 types. Now I have an acrobat, I have a magician, I have a bazaar, I have a juggler, and I have a tamer. So I do get full variety, which is 3 points, yay me. I have a perfect show, so my final show, all my performers were outstanding, so that's 5 victory points, again, yay me. And then large troupe, which means I have 8 performers in my circus, which obviously I do not. I only have 6, so I do not get that 5 victory points. I also would look to see if I get any of my victory points for this performance on my location, and this time I actually do because I have 2 tamers performing, so for this performance I would get 2 victory points. You would add up all your victory points that you've gotten from the shows or any other places like investment cards, and whoever has the most victory points wins. So that was Drumroll by Artipia Games. If you have any further questions, please refer to the rulebook. Enjoy your game.